Being an introvert is exhausting. And I think introverts often go misunderstood. When we're not directly showing our enthusiasm, which is often lacking anyways, sometimes people think we have bad intentions or we're deliberately trying to be rude. We're looked down upon for having bad communication skills. And the truth is that I think it's that our inner personality often gets lost in translation. And right from an early age, we're competing with our peers who seem to have no problem making friends or speaking publicly. What seems to come effortless for them is often extremely challenging for us. And we can't explain why it's hard to speak publicly or why it's hard to start a conversation or ask questions or voice our opinion. It's even difficult to explain to family members our fear of change and rejection, our fear of being uncomfortable, our fear of being lonely. And we're often doubted for our ability to perform, which makes things even more difficult when our confidence is already lacking. What really separates us is that social interactions are draining. So doing simple things like going to the grocery store, or speaking to a coworker, or going out with friends for dinner, going to a networking event, those are all super, super hard. And it's even harder to have to explain the why behind our habits. Being an introvert in an extroverted world is difficult. So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about things that have been especially difficult for me as an introvert and things that I'm also working on. But before we get started with the video, I just wanted to welcome those of you who are new. Welcome, my name is Bridget and I'm a parent and mindset coach. I also have a free Facebook group for those of you parents who are interested, who are on your personal development journey, you're into mindset, working on your confidence, working through anxiety. If any of that sounds of interest to you, make sure you check out our group. I'm gonna leave it linked down below. Also, don't forget to like this video if you found it useful, comment below what you wanna see more from me, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We all have a story, or even multiple stories to tell. And we all have reactions to different experiences that help make us who we are. And as introverts, obviously people you meet for the first time, it's difficult to explain why you are the way you are, why you have the habits that you do. And it's harder to navigate relationships and experiences and opportunities. Even people you've known for a long time, it's hard to explain your habits to. And I find as an introvert that it takes a very, very long time to get comfortable with a person. And even when I'm fully comfortable with a person, it's still hard to be vulnerable and express how I feel. So here are some of the things that have been especially challenging for me and things that I'm currently working on to fix. The first one is checking up on people, and this has been more so in regards to family and close friends. I've never been the type of friend or the type of family member to go out of my way and text them or message them how they are, how their day was, how they're doing. And it's not that I don't care. I actually care a lot. And as an introverted empath, I am constantly feeling all of the feelings that you're having and worrying about you and how you're doing and how your day was. So it's not that I don't care. It's not that I don't want to reach out. I'm just afraid of making you feel uncomfortable or saying the wrong thing or smothering you, because that's not how I want to feel. I don't want to make you feel like you have to respond to me. But over the years, this has obviously not been very useful in my relationships, and I've had to learn the hard way that if you don't make an effort to keep the people in your life, they will leave. And so again, this is something that I'm working on to fix. I'm making more of an effort to reach out to the people that I really care about, regardless of what thoughts come up. If I'm thinking that I might be judged for it, or if they might get mad at me, regardless of those thoughts, I need to say that thing. Because I know that if those words go unsaid, they'll never know how I feel. And they'll never know if I care. The other thing I'm working on is overthinking, which has been one of the hardest things to do because I overthink probably every decision that I make in life, and sometimes I'll find myself after 10 minutes of staring at the screen trying to decide how I'm going to respond to this comment that I've now wasted 10 minutes of my life and I still haven't responded to the comment. And it often turns into never getting things done, or procrastinating, or just feeling like a failure in general because I haven't got the things that I need to get due. And I think it's difficult for the people in my life as well because I have to overly express that I need you to be patient when I go down these rabbit holes. But again, it's something that I'm working on because at the end of the day, who it's hurting more is me. I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting my focus, my energy, and I'm not doing the things that I need to do in order to get to the place that I want to be. Another thing is stepping out of my comfort zone, which I have actually been pretty good with over basically my entire life actually, now that I think about it. But I know it is difficult for introverts in general, so I wanted to include it in today's video. The thing with stepping out of my comfort zone is that I learned at a very young age that I really had to do this in order to essentially meet my needs in life. When I was younger, I suffered with severe social anxiety to the point where I didn't really speak to anyone until I was like 13, and that's not sustainable. So I had to learn at a very young age that I really need to work on getting out of my comfort zone, regardless of how I was feeling, regardless of the thoughts that came up about people and my surroundings and myself. And so stepping out of my comfort zone used to look like making a phone call or going to the store alone or going to an appointment alone or speaking to someone I haven't in a really long time or being vulnerable with someone. But now, stepping out of my comfort zone looks more like releasing more videos and a different variety of videos of things I wouldn't normally talk about. It looks like messaging people out of the blue and creating more networking relationships and taking as many opportunities as I can to speak in a crowd, go to virtual retreats, and starting a podcast. Like, there are so many things now. I'm still working on stepping out of my comfort zone, but it just looks a little different. The next thing is not being able to say how I feel, which has been especially hard with partners and close friends. And it's definitely been something that has affected my marriage in a lot of different ways. I think as introverts, we have this funny way of navigating thoughts, that we have so many thoughts, and yet we don't say those thoughts at all. I was actually just explaining this to my husband. Sometimes it feels like I want to say something, and there's a monologue in my brain of what I want to say, but the words are all scrambled up. And I told him it's as though when you speak, the monologue is inserted into your brain. It's like someone typed it in, it's inserted, and all you have to do is just read it out loud. Like, you don't even have to think before you say, which is mind-boggling to me. And what he responded back was that, well, yeah, I think by doing. And so telling someone how I feel, being vulnerable and sharing my thoughts is extremely difficult when I myself can't put the words together. And so it's easier to just let it go unnoticed, let it not be said. But that has its problems when later on you get so worked up and frustrated because the feeling that you were having or the thought that you were having about an event or a specific situation or the way somebody reacted to something, when it goes unsaid, it leaves you feeling a certain way. And when it sits there and festers, it leads to more problems. So it's something I'm working on because I know I want to have more fulfilling relationships in my life. I want to be more authentic. The next thing is rejection. And this is a fear that I've had ever since I was a little girl, ever since I suffered with my social anxiety issues. I hate being judged and I hate making mistakes in front of people. And so oftentimes, instead of doing the thing in front of somebody, I just won't try at all. I hate failing because it makes me feel worthless. So it's easier to stay in the background, go unnoticed. But the tough part comes in when you want to accomplish big things in life. when you want to be more authentic, more confident, have better relationships, and do big things career-wise. Like when I started my business, I can't just go unnoticed and expect people to come to me and ask me for help, right? I have to be a little flashy, which is really hard as an introvert. So yeah, sometimes I have to do things that I don't want to do, and I have to make an effort into changing part of my personality in order to get to the place that I want to be. The last thing I want to mention to you guys is kind of funny, but I felt like I just had to include it. And I'm hoping some of the introverts watching this video will laugh at this, or at least relate to this, because I really hope I'm not the only one here. Sometimes I feel as though I can see and hear everything that happens. And I'm not talking about thinking that someone said something about me, or they whispered something to somebody else about me, that thinking that the world is always out to get me. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I'm walking down the street and I'm walking alongside somebody, and I'll say to them, hey, did you just see that? Did you just hear what they said? Did you see what they were wearing? Did you see that sign? And more often than not, the other person that I'm with will not notice. They'll be in their own world. They're doing their thing, they're in the present moment, they're not worried about anything else. When I'm walking, I hear everything, I see everything, and I mean everything. And sometimes I'll even make a joke about it, and I'll just look like a crazy person because that person will have no idea what I'm talking about. And like I said in the beginning of this video, it's hard being an introvert in an extroverted world, and I somehow managed to have befriended and brought so many extroverts into my life where I have no idea why. I don't know if it was intentional, but I did do that to myself, so it's something I gotta work with now. Yeah, though, these are the things that have been challenging for me, and yet I am trying my best to work on them and work through them. And I want to just highlight that I think there's so many great aspects of being an introvert in general, right? I'm a lot more empathetic, I'm creative, I think hard, I theorize, I like to be alone and just, dive into my work and dive into whatever I'm thinking about. And it's helped me in a lot of ways. But I also acknowledge that there are, downsides to being an introvert, especially in the world that we live in. And I'm not saying that being an introvert is more difficult than being an extrovert. I think it's just more difficult being an introvert in an extroverted world. And so I'm trying to find a balance between acknowledging that fact and also acknowledging that there are some things that I do want to change about myself in order to get to the places I want to be and get to be the person that I want to be. Because I do have a vision for myself, of course. And so I just wanted to highlight that fact. But before we end today's video, I just wanted to quickly announce that spots for my free consult are open. So if you are a parent, specifically a mom, working on your personal growth journey, you want to be more confident, have better relationships in your life, I really urge you to sign up for the consult below. You'll get a chance to chat with me, talk about what you're struggling with, and see how I can help. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it useful, maybe got a laugh out of it, who knows. But I will see you guys next time.